right, we're on the clock. I've got a great story to share with you, something that we've been building up to, and we've had, as you would have seen hopefully yesterday in our news, a major intercept at our West MacArthur project, so I'm very happy to share that with you today. But we started about 6 weeks ago drilling on multiple projects, and we're truly drilling on multiple new discoveries, and we're trying to take these to the next level. So this is what we were talking about weeks ago, and now we're going to move that forward pretty substantially. This is the news, 16.8 meters of 13.74%. It's a very high-grade intercept. Within that, 4.7 meters of over 40% uranium. So this is right at the unconformity. It's so obliterated by alteration, we don't even know where to pick it. So I'll show you that in a few minutes. But let's just get to CANALASKA. We came off last year with a lot of success, both at West MacArthur, but also in our Moon Lake South joint venture with Denison, where we drilled, continued to drill high-grade mineralization at the Pike Zone. We continued to advance the understanding with Denison at our Moon Lake South JV, where we drilled 8 meters at 2.5%. And that's truly a second discovery from 2023. So we're in a great position entering 2024, and we're a very well-structured company. We've got only 153 million shares outstanding. We've got $14 million in the bank following a successful raise a few months ago. And ultimately, our share price rose yesterday to 74 cents on the recent news. So we're in a good position in a good uranium market with a very well-structured company. We've got a great team, really led by Mr. Nathan Bridge, ex-Cameco. He left Cameco to join me to move this company forward about 2.5 years ago. We've built the team up with people that we know and trust and want to work with us to move this incredible set of assets forward. So a very talented young geoscientists leading the charge with a very, very good team built mostly off Cameco and Orano experience, so they know how to get it done in the Athabasca Basin. From the more marketing side of the equation, Misty Urbach joined us. She's now moved on to run Cory Nickel. We spun that out a few months ago, our nickel assets in Manitoba, into a new entity. She's the CEO of that, but she is on our advisory board. So a great management team. Board of directors, really led by Ambassador Thomas Graham Jr. out of the U.S. Non-proliferation agreements through the 90s were, basically done by him. So he's a big believer in this space and the future of nuclear energy. And more importantly, more recently brought on Jeff Gay, connections into the Indigenous groups in the north where we operate, so that's very important these days. And then Karen Lloyd, former director for Cameco Marketing. So a good friend of mine joined me to help move this all forward. So I'm not going to talk too much about nuclear. I think we all get it, but I think one of the things is that the supply-demand gap is actually much larger than we think. The current models shown on the right from a few months ago really don't account for SMRs, don't account for restarts or extensions, so that gap is actually much larger than we believe moving out in time. And as Misty pointed out a few weeks ago, this is the first time in the history of uranium where primary and secondary supply is not meeting demand. So that's never occurred before. So we're truly in a very, very fundamentally solid uranium market. And I believe we're in a step change somewhere around $100 a pound, which will bring on new production, but it'll incentivize new exploration and discoveries. So we're in a very good space in the uranium market. So about CANALASKA, we are an active explorer and project generator. We've built our portfolio over 500,000 hectares in the eastern Athabasca Basin. Why? Because it's around all of that critical infrastructure. 3 mills, the 2 operating mines. Any discovery here gets an automatic re-rate around that infrastructure, and we believe the potential really lies for that major discovery in the east. And that's where we've been focused. And our raise was primarily built to go out and explore West MacArthur, build on the Pike Zone discovery that we announced about 18 months ago now, and really move that forward with our partner Cameco. So we've got an active year coming, a lot of drilling. Currently 2 drills at West MacArthur, 1 on Pike Zone and 1 just off of Pike Zone, looking for extensions. Again, pearls on a string. We've heard about that just through Dev and Ray's presentation. We've got a drill turning at Moon Lake South JV run by Denison, following up on that high-grade mineralization from last year. And then just a few weeks ago, our partner Basin Energy started drilling at the Geeky project, following up on great results, first results from last year, and they actually intersected low-grade mineralization on their second ever drill hole last year. So a lot of drilling coming through the year and a lot of news flow for our shareholders in what is a pretty strong market. Now our portfolio spans everything from shallow right through to deep targets, shallow like Arrow and Eagle Point right through to McArthur River type scenarios. The deep sandstone does not scare us. It's actually an advantage. We come from Cameco and Orano primarily, used to drilling in these deep environments, and these come with large alteration halos. So we can use that to zoom into where the mineralization is. And here's Pike Zone. Now, we've seen this slide before, and I just want to highlight its proximity to McArthur River. It's only about 12 to 15 kilometers from McArthur River. We actually drive from the McArthur mine gate into this project year-round. So it's very well positioned around this infrastructure. Again, Cameco is our partner. They own, we own a little over 83% today of this project, and they're a very active partner with us moving this forward from a technical perspective. But the Pike Zone and our 42 zone is part of the C10 corridor. Now, this is host to Cameco and Orano's Fox Lake deposit, 68 million pounds at 8%. So we're on a very fertile corridor right near one of the most prolific fertile corridors at McArthur River. So a little bit about geology here. We're taking small scale, drill core and moving it up to kilometer scale. So this happens in geology all the time. Hoodoos is an example from a size of a quarter right through to meters, or if you look at folding in rocks from millimeter scale right through to multiple kilometers. So we're using this in a step-by-step process to take what we see on a small scale and move it out to a big scale. So as another example is the photo on the left, which I took as Chief Mine Geologist at Eagle Point. It's 4 meters wide. That's an economic ore vein 400 meters below the unconformity. Okay, so that's what it looks like. All those lines that you see, those are structures. Those are structures within that actually upgrade that mineralization and make it economic. So we've been taking that knowledge, what we see in the drill core, and we're moving into our Pike Zone area, here shown on the right, where we've seen, probably a dozen mineralized holes already, some of them, 6 meters of 1%, so very good grades. But at these depths, we know that we have to be much higher grades. So we've been working this geology out, or the team has, and trying to predict where the mineralization is going to go. So if we take that image on the left, we rotate it around and overlay it over the Pike Zone, you can see that when you scale it up to 400 meters, it actually holds together. So all those small structures coming across that upgrade the mineralization are present at a 400 meter scale or even kilometer scale. And this is what we've been using for targeting, working up the model, working through the geology. What is it telling us? Where is it taking us? The very first hole back at Pike Zone is this one. It's becoming predictable. Okay, so we drilled that 16.8 meters of 14%. This is what it looks like. Super high-grade mineralization right at the unconformity. Now, I'll caution you, we can't even pick the unconformity here. It's completely obliterated by the alteration and completely replaced by the mineralization. So this is extremely high-grade material and over a very significant width. So it's open in all directions. The closest hole is a little over 30 meters away from this one. There's a lot of room to expand this, and it will expand quickly with this type of grade. So where is that hole located? It's that yellow star. So just for context, between these red stars, you see 3 sets of red stars in that orange ribbon. You can fit the core of the hurricane zone, IsoEnergy's hurricane zone, between those stars. That's what we've talked about before. Now we've drilled this type of grade where? Between these stars. So it shows you that when you're on one of these mineralized, very prolifically mineralized ribbons or corridors, you need to pay attention to it. You need to start to work out the geology, and that's exactly what the team's been laser focused on, and now the results are starting to come. So we're currently off-cutting from the hole, and we're probably 10 days away from the next unconformity intercept as we speak. So stay tuned for follow-up results. Now, Pike Zone is a 400-meter zone so far. We don't have a single drill hole for 10 kilometers to the left of that image, so basically on strike to Pike Zone. So we've got one drill out there targeting geophysical anomalies, shown here in yellow around the Pike Zone. If you look at the one just to the bottom of the Pike Zone there, that's about 1.5 kilometers away. There's one drill out there looking for the structure, looking for alteration, if we're lucky, and believe this is a really, really big corridor. We should start seeing signs of potential mineralization. If we do that, then we now open up a corridor that's probably over 1.5 kilometers long and showing these types of grades. So it's a pretty potential big discovery here. So we're drilling at 800 meters depth. How do we do this? We're basically taking 800 meter depth and turning it into 300. How? With deviation tools. So we stick a tool down the hole and we can actually hit this podium from 800 meters away. And I'm not actually lying. We figure we're within 60 centimeters of our target at Pike Zone with this technology. So it looks like a spider web, but basically we drill one pilot hole, and then we off-cut from that at about 500 meters depth, and then we can go out and test the targets. So we're currently off-cutting on this really high-grade hole to go out and try and build the story. So we're using that type of technology to move ourselves forward and hopefully delineate what is a very significant zone. We've got a second discovery on the go, as I mentioned, with the Moon Lake South JV with Denison. Last year we intersected the 9 meters of 2.5%. They're out there drilling right now. We'll see what results come from this program. Now this mineralization is high grade. It's sitting up in the sandstone. It's disconnected from the unconformities. So this is a very rare event, this type of width and grade. So there should be some connection back here to the unconformity, and that's what Denison is focused on right now. So again, one drill turning on this at the moment. We've also got a potential third discovery underway with our partner Basin Energy, where their second ever drill hole about 6 months ago intercepted 0.27% uranium in a structure. Again, the second hole on this project ever. They're out here drilling as of last week, moving this project forward. So we'll see where they take it. But it's just an incredible set of results coming from our portfolio, and it's just an amazing time to be in the industry. So, I show here outdated. Why? Because about several weeks ago, Cameco announced that Cigar Lake was moving ahead with phase 2. Well, Cigar Lake has 13 years of mine life left. McArthur River, they're taking from 19 million pounds to 25 million pounds of production a year. That moves that what used to be 18 years of mine life forward, probably to about 13 years. So in 13 years' time, you have potentially no production from a Tier 1 asset coming from the Eastern Athabasca Basin. What is that going to do to your uranium market? 20% of current global uranium production coming offline. The time is now. The time is needed for a Tier 1 asset discovery, and we've drilled the hole that potentially could be that. So it's a pretty exciting time to be in this space. We also do deals. In the last year or so, we've done $44 million in deals. Again, the Geeky project moving ahead as part of a $15 million deal. We just announced in the last 4 to 6 weeks several other deals totaling upward of about $30 million. So the space is active. We're de-risking our projects, our large project portfolio with others' money, again, moving it all toward discovery. So we're very active in that front as well, and stay tuned for more deals because, yeah, it's getting busy. So we do tick all these boxes, but importantly, we're advancing multiple new discoveries, and more recently, high-grade discoveries at Pike Zone, and drilling's ongoing. So thanks for listening, and it's a pretty exciting drill hole. Thank you.